Yes, welcome back to DallasStars.com. With me, Brett Hall. We're going to talk a little bit about, I guess, the potential matchups at some point in the playoffs in the Western Conference for these Dallas Stars. Nobody really knows what the brackets are going to look like. I don't know if we have enough
time to go through all of them.
Well, we'll break them down one by one.
Let's do it. Where are we going to start?
Start with Nashville, the number one team in the Western Conference as we do this.
Not by much.
No. They're in a bit of a battle with those Detroit Red Wings in their own division, let alone everyone else. Come playoff time, when you look at that team, what scares you and wouldn't fright you whatsoever?
I don't know. There's not much that wouldn't frighten me. I think they're solid right from, with maybe a little inexperience on the back end, but right through the forwards, they have solid defensive position, and they're awfully dangerous with the ability to score goals.
They're the highest scoring team in the Western Conference. They're going to score goals. The question is going to be that group on their back end, which is really young. I mean, 3 years from now, they're dynamite back there if they can keep them together. Shea Weber.
I think their goalies are overrated, too.
Do you?
I do.
It'll be interesting. They still haven't really named who's going to be the number one guy or who they'll run with.
Problem, don't you think?
I agree. Anytime you have an indecision as to what guy is going to start game number one. The other thing I'd like to ask you is how much stock do you put into whether a guy or whether you have a bunch of guys who've won a cup before, is there not? They have two guys, Arnott and the guy they just picked up from Philadelphia, Peter Forsberg, the only two players that have won a cup on that team.
Well, I don't know. You have to win one. I mean, before you win one, no one's won one. You know, Mark Messier at one time didn't have one either. So, I mean, I don't know. The only guy that I wouldn't trust on that, well, a couple guys, I guess, is Sullivan and Correa. That's question marks for me. Arnott and Forsberg up the middle. It's a pretty good pair of guys to bring those other guys along. You know, make them, drag them by the toenails through the tough part of the...
I think that's the biggest strength of their team. The thing that would bug me the most trying to plan for them is if they're all healthy down the middle and they can run Arnott, Forsberg, Legwand, who's had a career year, and then they've got some other guys that can fill in on their fourth line. That'll be a tough matchup. Let's move on.
But then they're always penalized by having to put Tutu out there.
Your point, not mine.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that one on the weekend.
Do you know him or something?
No. We'll move on to the Ducks. What not to like about this? The only undercurrent really dealing with them is whether they've been worn out a little bit by having the pedal pushed to the max all season long by their coaching staff. But that, and then the other thing that would be worrisome if I'm them, is if they lose one of those guys, or God forbid both of them on the back end, Pronger and Niedermayer, they can't win a game without them. They proved that.
Yeah, and teams, whoever they play, you know they're just going to be gunning for them. But they're built for the playoffs. Big and strong and fast. They got skill. They've got, two good goalies. They're going to be, if they lose, whoever beat them has played one heck of a series.
How do you think the Stars would match up with them in a series? They're probably not going to see them until down the line. But
I don't like that matchup for us at all. They're too big and too strong for our smaller forwards.
That's the one thing about them. They can physically push another team out of a game, out of a series, because of the way they play it. We'll move on. Vancouver starts with Roberto Luongo. I don't know if it goes any deeper than that.
The two kids, you can shut the kids down. The brothers,
Sedins,
the brothers, Beetlejuice brothers. But you're in every game, every series when you've got the best goalie in hockey.
The only question about that's going to be, he made it such a goal. It's been such an upheaval and change of direction for the Vancouver Canucks, who are really an up-tempo team that like to score goals, didn't always stop enough goals to make the playoffs or go long into the playoffs. Now that they've changed things up, Luongo came in and said, look, we're going to make the playoffs. I wonder whether satisfaction sets in after they actually make the playoffs, and anything beyond that's gravy.
Well, I think it is, but I think they're going to put their best foot forward to play well, but I don't think they have the horses up front. I think they're in the kind of the opposite boat we are. We're looking for a couple guys to score with Ribeiro and Modano, and they're looking for someone to set up Naslund. So, but still, you got the best goalie in hockey.
They've proven they can win 1-0,
absolutely.
And they only need the one. Speaking of winning 1-0, the Detroit Red Wings, your old club, it seems like that's their MO most nights now, is to win low-scoring games.
They haven't scored over one goal in their last 5. And Datsuk has every one of them.
So, and that would be painful if you were going to look in the rearview mirror at what Detroit has done in recent years. They, too, are motivated by wanting to get out of the first round. They've been popped a couple years in a row, and one of the major reasons they've been popped is Datsuk has been invisible.
Well, I wouldn't blame it all on him. I think there's been some suspect coaching, and I think they just ran into a buzzsaw last year in Edmonton. And I just don't know if Zetterberg doesn't come back. I don't know. They're very beatable.
Because it just allows the other team to just almost completely
if
focus
you're going to
on
beat
one
Detroit, we could beat them with our forecheck, but we seem to be scared of them and never forecheck against them.
Haven't won a game against them yet this season, and there's been lots of that, it seems like, from year to year. The Minnesota Wild. This is what I have predicted will be the Stars' opening round matchup. A lot of guys would welcome it. It's like playing mirror images of one another up against. The difference for me would be Sergei Zubov. They've got lots of the same pieces that the Dallas Stars have. They don't have anybody anywhere near Sergei Zubov.
Well, and I like our goaltending better as well, but I know that would be you'd have a pillow giveaway every night, and so everyone could nap. I mean, till overtime. But
we were saying the other day that might be the first best of 28 in NHL history. It'll be 2-1 long into the night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because
they're playing very well, though. I wouldn't.
They're playing well. They've got a different dynamic going. Obviously, Gabourik's healthy. Yep. Dimitra gives them a little extra punch. Rolston, I think, is a great player. That atmosphere up there would be remarkable, especially if it was this team going back up there.
Absolutely.
San Jose, stop their power play, stop the Sharks.
Yeah, just like save the cheerleader, save the world. It's they're a good team, but they're kind of a mixture of Nashville and Anaheim. Big and strong and fast. Weak on D, inexperienced on D, I think.
Yeah. Well, maybe their best D-man might be Vlasic, who's 19 years old.
Absolutely.
And it's a pretty important position.
But they're big and fast. I wouldn't want to play them either.
They're big, they're fast, they're deep. And
they're tough at home.
Very tough at home. Very tough at home. And speaking of that, the Calgary Flames are the best home team in the Western Conference.
And you just don't want to play them because what a dump.
Are you talking about the city?
Who wants to go up there? Yeah.
Huh?
God.
Go back into Canada, north of the 49th. They'd be buzzing the Red Mile, all that stuff.
Gross.
I'll tell you what, they'd be a tough opponent. You've got Kiprasov. You've got a Ginla who could dominate a series. They've learned, it seems like this year, they've loosened the reins a little bit defensively so they can score more goals. But I don't know whether they can rein it back in and play good enough D to win.
I wouldn't want to play them either. They're tough at home, and if you got to go in and win a game there. Good luck.
Maybe the best thing we can say is that it looks like Colorado won't make the playoffs and the Stars won't meet them in the opening round.
Well, we wouldn't play them anyway. I don't see how we could.
But if they did sneak in and somehow meandered their way up through it and they met in the conference final, is about the only way.
If they get in, they're just going to get in by the. I'd love to see them knock Calgary out.
Doesn't it amaze you though what they've done here, going to the whip late in the season? They finally figured out their goaltending a little bit,
kind of like what Edmonton did last year.
Yeah, because they can score goals. They've scored goals all season.
Sakic's got 33 again.
That kid Stastny's been outstanding for them. If they'd have made this switch earlier and just gone with Buda as their number one guy, they might be 10, 15 points ahead of most teams in the Western Conference. So who's your pick? Opening round matchup for the Stars. Who do you think it'll be?
I'm going to say it's going to be Vancouver.
You think they'll hold off Minnesota and win that?
I think so. If I remember correctly, I think their schedule's easier.
It is. I don't think they might have one more game on the road. Almost all their games are at home. So that's my pick.
That's another place.
What?
Who wants to fly 4 hours to go play 1-0 hockey?
Maybe we can find a neutral site.
Maybe they won't invite me on the road.
No, you're coming. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
That's Brad Hall. I'm Darryl Ray. Happy web surfing.
Next week we'll do the Eastern Conference.
We will?